So, now it's up to all of you to put the questions. And maybe we can get the lights a little bit up in the hall so I can see where people put up their hands. But while we wait for the first question from the hall, maybe I can ask you, it is indeed a formidable strategy and policy. And we would be honored to have the European Union coming to future assemblies to monitor how you progress in this way. But if I ask you, what is the single most important challenge you face in executing this policy, given the political structure and the concerns of this great body which the European Union is, the complexities of the Commission and the Parliament, and also the will of individual states who also want to have their own role. So as you go back to Brussels from here, what will you tell your colleagues about what is the most important challenge they're going to face in the times ahead?
I think overall, speaking about the European Green Deal and implementation of climate agenda, we have to realize that it is impossible by single country, even a region, to fight climate change successfully. Same goes if you zoom into Arctic region. It's impossible to fight those changes that are already happening 3 times faster than else on its own. So it's very important to find a landing zone which would allow us to really take a good care of Arctic, to ensure that those economic interests, they are not put up front the climate agenda. And that we all agree that with climate agenda, we also can reach economic prosperity, that we can find win-win solutions, first of all, for people living in the region, for more than 4 million people who lives in the region. Secondly, for an area, for its ecosystems, but most importantly for the whole planet. What happens in the Arctic does not stay in the Arctic, and we're all going to be affected by those changes. So therefore, I think the biggest challenge is actually realizing, first of all, the scope of the challenge, and then finding the landing zone beyond those economic interests.
Great. Okay, so let's have some questions from the hall. I told you this is an open democratic forum. Yes. Okay, the microphone is there. If you can just state your name and then go straight to the question.
James Gray, I'm from the British Parliament, an MP. I run the all-party parliamentary group for the polar regions. Well done your appointment as Special Envoy, which is great. I think it's terrific. And well done this report. I much look forward to reading it. I'm sure it's a very important and seminal document. But you did touch very briefly on your relationship with the Arctic Council. And I wondered if you could bring us up to date on how the EU's negotiations with the Arctic Council are progressing with regard to achieving observer status.
Good question. Thank you very much. So, as I'm informed, those obstacles of declarations are now behind, and we're of course looking forward to moving ahead and gaining the observer status. But that doesn't really prevent us from working with the region, with countries in the region. And as clearly our strategy puts it forward, we will need enhanced multilateral cooperation on the challenges that the region is going to face. So I'm looking forward. I hope that all those obstacles that they were raised are now behind, that we managed to put them behind, and that soon we're going to obtain the observer status.
Okay, there's a question here. And also in the back, I mean, you're also part of this, so don't hesitate.
Hello, my name is Haukur Hauksson, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, also I would like to stress also to peace questions and so on. Of course, you know, gender and the climate change is very important, but those countries are 8, and Russia is one against maybe many countries in European Union, NATO. NATO have 30 countries, Russia is one against them. And unfortunately, there is small presence of Russian Federation here anyway. But you know, the Russians, they have very strong submarine fleet in the north. They are doing big emphasis as to military upbuild in the north, maybe the west as well. But the proportions are like that, and those countries, I mean, the East Bloc came to NATO and so on, and the Russians are worried. Is it possible to have some peace agenda as to this military build-up and arms race, which is now developing in the north? And do you take this into account as in this Arctic Council, and just to have peaceful peace and cooperation here, which is maybe the most important as to arms race and so on, you know? Thank you, and all success.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. So I think we should start from the ending of your question, that peace and stability is the interest of everyone. And to be honest, if you zoom into Arctic policies and work with Russia, it's been quite successful, especially on cooperation on research and innovation. Of course, when you go into a larger scene of politics, then we have quite big differences there. So I think our strategy very clearly puts our priorities. And those our priorities is not a sort of a telling someone what to do and how to do, but it's actually a call for a dialogue, respecting each other, respecting each other's position, respecting the large border that Russia has there, and seeking for that close dialogue and engagement, which would, of course, serve as a victory of all, first of all, of region, but then again, of the whole planet.
Okay, so do we have more questions? Well, everybody seems to be clear about the... Okay, meet Treadwell, all the way from Alaska, meet. Yes. It's a long way from the European Union, but...
Minister, thank you for your remarks. The announcement of the EU Arctic strategy has already generated lots of waves at home in Alaska. Because I don't think the whole continent of Europe talked to us before they told us that we should shut down our main businesses of oil and gas. We're working very, very hard to be more sustainable. We have the least methane leaks of almost any gas fields in America. We have the closest transportation to the large Asian markets. We are working on decarbonization strategies as many others are. And might I just suggest it might be better if you actually have a dialogue with the people producing, rather than announce as a continent you will try to put us out of business.
Okay, thank you for your question. Good. So, first of all, let's build on that what you have mentioned. Yeah? Let's build on that what you have mentioned, because I think you shouldn't be taking it as some sort of ultimatum or squeezing you out of business. I think what's going to inevitably squeeze you out of the business, the rising temperature, the ice melting, and the changes and the rise of the sea, which inevitably going to occur. And we can be arguing about it the whole day, but I think what's most important is to take decisions. And we're ready to take decisions, first of all, by ourselves and by leading by example. And it's up to you in the end of the day to follow or not, because not everyone is on the same step of readiness, because I know that there is a lot of jobs in your region probably dependent on those industries. There is lots of welfare created. And absolutely, the climate change is not the Green Deal agenda is not a walk in the park. It will require solutions horizontally across all sectors. How are we going to replace those jobs? How the person who worked in the gas sector there in Alaska is going to find a different job which he never imagined. Do we have already a reskilling programs for that? There is a lot of work to be done. With this announcement, we just say what we're going to implement, and we're going to call partners to support us. And you find the courage, ideas to support us, let's build on those best practices, rather than take it as a rivalry pushing someone out of business. It's not our interest. Our interest is to save that region for all those people who are hardworking and protecting that region for many, many years. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Indeed, thank you very much.